Hello and welcome to Blades of Thunder.
Hi and welcome to Blades of Thunder. Our flying season is starting to draw to an end, so we've resumed our evening filming. This is the surprise box that we're opening this evening, and I hope you enjoy.
Okay, so what do we have in the box? Well, it's a Roban 700 size super scale AH-64 Apache. And we got this from Motion RC. It took 4 days from order to FedEx delivering it to the doorstep. But we must point out that we are in the UK and Motion RC are in the EU and America. We ordered this from the EU site. So when it got to the UK, there were some taxes to pay on it. But we do need to point out, when you order on the motionrc.eu site and you're in the UK, you don't pay any taxes to the EU. Taxes are taken off the price that you pay, and then they are added when it comes into the UK. And FedEx are brilliant. They just sent us a text message, told us how much to pay with a link, and we paid it, and it was on the doorstep the next day. So in total, 4 days from order to receipt, which was brilliant. Really brilliant. Okay, so without further ado, what do you get when you buy a Roban Super Scale helicopter? A very big box. So let's find out.
Okay.
Are you ready, Kevin?
3, 2, 1.
The first thing on top of the box is a rather large decal sheet. Looks like markings for a United States Army Apache.
Okay. Second thing down is the instruction / guidance of how to put it all together.
Yep, and first thing we can see that there are lots of boxes within the box. So so not only is all the parts nicely secured in, everything is in its place. Finish another one somewhere there. Okay, so what's inside this box?
So mind your fingers.
Okay. Has Chinese writing on there, which must mean something, but I suspect this is rotor blades. Tail boom, tail rotor blades. I've got them. So we've got the tail boom, and sounds like the control rods and drive shaft inside, 4 nice looking carbon fibre tail blades, and 4 main rotor blades. Okay, next box.
Next box, or next bit of packaging, whichever is
Next
going
bit
to
of
come
packaging. Probably get that out bit next.
out. I can say that looks like it slides out quite nicely. Looks like the tail assembly of the fuselage.
Let's take it out. Got the knife.
That's a note, be careful when you cut this, don't go stabbing all the way through because you don't want to damage the paint, the finish of the fuselage.
Should open up like a bag. Okay, so a very nicely painted and detailed tail section. In this box, there's just a very fragile looking part in this box. So we've got got a. It looks like the guard, the cable guard that goes around the gun.
If you start to learn Chinese, every single box has got some
Chinese
writing on it. Nothing else like that. Okay, so we have excuse me. Very nice painted interior. Lovely finish.
There's wires. It's lit.
Yeah, it's got
lit.
LEDs in the bottom of it for a good scale look once it's put together. And these must be the seats. I would presume flight controls.
The main fuselage. Got it?
Yep.
So, there's the main fuselage. Again, very nicely riveted and detailed. So you can see this is going to be quite a large model once completed. Another box of bits. Okay, so this box looks like it contains all the detail parts for the model. So there's gun, rocket pods, the Dalek, the weapons wings, all the fixing and wirings, more detail parts, lots of detail parts, Hellfire missiles, rocket pods, weapons pylons, starter motors coverings for the engines, and a horizontal stabilizer.
There's a nice main rotor head. Nicely wrapped and pre-assembled, but we will be checking it. Tail assembly, again pre-assembled. It's got to be the raised tail drive. Linkage rods, washers, screws. Again for the tail. The important bit, tail guide, gearbox.
Immediate gearbox, yeah. Looks nice.
So that's the main mechanics and the heart of the helicopter. Put that down as opposed to do that up in the air.
Thank you. Doing that, I'll try and get this box out, which is really well stuck in. Okay, there's just this last little box in the corner here, which is so well fixed in I can't get it out. Okay, so just some packaging, I think, which contains the undercarriage, which looks very nice, made of metal. So, put that down there. And just get the box out of the way. Okay, now we've got it out the box, and it was a bit of palaver getting it out the box, but you can't complain that it was that well packaged, because as you can see, everything is immaculate. Nothing appears to be damaged. So what we're going to do now is just have a closer look at all the parts in a little bit more detail. So starting with the main fuselage, as you can see, it's fiberglass construction using woven cloth, not chopped strand, so it's quite strong, lightweight. You can feel it's quite sturdy. It's already fully framed out, so there's no frame. Unlike other kits, there's no framing to fit in. It's all done for you already, and it's finished in a nice matte olive infrared green. I think it's the Apache finish, so it's a nice colour. It's all ready to go, really. So the canopy, don't know how the canopy comes off, just lifts off. So it's got two securing lugs, front and back, magnetic, and you can see inside everything is all painted and ready to go. It's very nice, and yeah, even all of the woodworking has been filleted as well for extra security. So it's a very well made model. Okay, as it's new, it's obviously everything's still a little bit tight, but the magnets are strong and everything goes in nicely. Okay,
with all of these things, we'll have a slightly closer look at everything that's come in it. One that's caught my eye and has made me rather intriguing is the finish of the internal the cockpits. The screens are scale screens with what the radar and what the pilot would see, what the engineer would see, different screens. And a really nice touch is it's all lit from behind, so as you power it up, it actually looks really, really nice. Lovely finish, attention to detail. Itchy Fingers wants to put a battery on it to see if they all work, just to see what it looks like, because I think that looks really nice.
Mm-hmm. What the seats like?
So I'm just about to have a look. More fitted, so they sit in rather nicely. We'll have to get some good pilots for that.
Yeah, well, we can look at either the HM Forces pilots if it's around 1/8 scale, or we can get them made by real model pilots who've done some pilots for us in the past.
Okay, we'll keep all that together.
Yes, that's the Cyclic and the Collective.
Yes.
Nice.
I'll leave them in the packaging so they don't get lost.
Yeah,
as they're quite small.
Okay. So this is the main mechanics, and all we have to do is fit the motor, and I wouldn't strip this down to check it, but I would recommend that you tighten all the nuts and bolts that you can get at, just to make sure that they are tight. Don't try and move them, but just put enough pressure on to show that they're tight, because it looks to me like everything is pre-assembled at the factory. Okay, I'm not saying you should trust it, but check it. But sometimes by disassembling things, you can put a fault into the system. So it's come factory assembled. Check it over and keep an eye on it for 3 or 4 flights. Just make sure everything is okay, because if it's gonna show a fault, it'll show it up quite quickly. Okay, but everything is nice and smooth. The control rods are nice and smooth, but just tighten everything. The swash plates moving up nice and things. So servos fit here, so there's 3 servos for the Cyclic and Collective, and the motor sits on this adjustable mount here, so you can tension up the drive belt, which is a very nice, well put together. It looks good. I don't envisage us having any issues with that. So it will sit in the model that way round, because the tail shaft comes out the back here. Looking forward to assembling this.
It does look rather good, doesn't it?
It does look nice, yes.
I also like the thing that caught my eye was the undercarriage. Again, this is all pre-assembled. Very beautiful piece of assembly.
Is it sprung?
It is. That is.
So it's got some shock
That
absorbers.
has got some shock absorbers to it. Everything looks really nice.
It does, doesn't it?
Even the small front one has got some springing to it, with a little touch of lubricant in there as well. Nice touch.
Okay, I've picked up the main rotor head. We have been asked recently to talk about phasing. Okay, now with Roban main motor heads, they are plug and play. You just stick it on the shaft, connect it to the swash plate, and it's already phased, and off you go. And they achieved that by using a bent pitch change link. Okay, so a Roban head is just plug and play, pop it on. You don't need to do anything on your radio and the receivers or anything. It should just fly quite nicely, and they do these in 3, 4, 5, and I'm not sure, but they may even do a 6-blade head. But if you've got a lower end flybarless unit, these are the heads you want. Roban heads, you can buy them separately. They're great. I've got these on a lot of models, and they're just fantastic. There's nothing to worry about. But we will be doing a more in-depth video soon on phasing and showing you how to phase mechanically and electronically different types of heads. Okay.
Nice little assembly, all screwed together and pre-assembled with easy access to its fixings. Again, that's a really nice little piece of kit. Finish is very professional, so I'm impressed with that.
Okay, I've got here the tail rotor assembly, which is very nicely, it's greased, it's already pre-greased and well assembled. It's not scale to an Apache. While Apache does have a 4-blade tail rotor, it's what is known as a cascade tail rotor, where it's two 2-blade tail rotor hubs, one on top of the other, set at I can't remember the exact angle, but they're closer together. So it's not particularly scale, but it is still a nice tail rotor head, 4-blade. So when it's flying, you won't know that it's not scale. Would make this a standoff scale model rather than a true scale model. However, I have seen people in the past have modified this to take a cascade head, and maybe in the future we will look at doing that, but let's get it flying first out the box so we can show you that how the model flies.
Okay, so we have just a few other boxes, but one I'd like to have a look at. I want to have a look at one of these blades. All individually wrapped, so I'll only take one of them out. I won't do. Very nice looking asymmetrical blade. Lovely finish on it. Looks like someone's cleaned and polished it before I get a chance to.
So get that covered in dead bugs.
Yeah. Little red spots where you've been flying it around again.
Yes. Okay, so I'm not going to get all these detailed parts out, but there's so many.
As you have done sort of quite a few of these, what are the extras that we're going to need to get this beautiful model in the air?
Well, there is in the kit you do get the pinion for the motor and bearings for the tail drive. They're quite important with a long tail drive. It stops the torque tube from flexing in the shaft, which is all bad. And wiring. It looks like wiring in there for the lighting system, which I think is already pre-fitted. Well, most of it's pre-fitted by the look of things. And what are they, 3mm LEDs?
Yes.
And they're colour coded.
Yep.
And look, there's little fairings for them as well.
Yes.
That's nice. So that's all the parts to assemble the model, and obviously there's lots of details here. But to actually get this model to fly, and what you don't get in the kit is the servos, the motor, the fly-barless unit and receivers, and all the other bits and bobs that you want. Now this is recommended to run on a 12S system, so we have acquired from our friends at Ego Drift a 4035 HS 520 kV scale helicopter motor. So this motor, if I get it out of the box, is specifically designed for scale use. We've not used one before, so we're going to give it a go. Already soldered on, ready to connect up. So they're nice motors. It's very smooth when you twist it. It's lovely. I love it, and it's quite a nice lump as well.
Yeah, beautiful looking.
Yeah, so
Lovely piece of kit.
we'll let you know how we get on with that, because they're quite new. Ego Drift, I think, have been around a while, but the Scale series is new. Okay, what else we got? We've matched that up to a Scorpion Tribunus to 12-30 130 amp ESC. Okay, that's my personal choice, but we would recommend 120 amp to 130 amp ESC, but Scorpion's my personal choice. For servos, we've chosen Savox. We like Savox servos because they're relatively inexpensive compared to some of the other brands out there, but they are brilliant, absolutely brilliant servos. To date, I have never had one of these fail on me, and I've got some in models that are over 7 years old and still going strong. So these are SB 2274 SG servos. They're approved up to 8.4 volts, and as a cyclic servo, 8.4 volts are faster than some of the tail rotor servos out there. So we're going to be using them on cyclic and tail. And the reason we're using a cyclic servo on the tail is we've got a long, tortuous tail control run. We've got to change it through angles and bell cranks and all sorts. So we need to use a fast but strong servo for that. We won't need a receiver because one of our preferred radio systems is the Mikado V-Bar system. We like this system because it's very quick and easy to set up, and it's even easier to fine-tune everything on the radio. But you can do it on a computer if you don't have a. You can use these with all sorts of radio systems, but if you've got the Mikado radio, you can do it from the radio. So they're absolutely brilliant. This one's the V-Bar Neo with Pro, upgraded to Pro on there. And an optional extra is this Emcotech safety power switch. Okay, we're using a 12S system, so batteries connects in. This connects up to the ESC, and then you have a remote switch that's magnetically controlled. Fit that somewhere on the helicopter. It actually looks like a fuel point, so you could hide it behind a fuel flap that you can secure. Take the magnetic plug out, which makes the system live, and then fly your model. Close the hatch and go fly, and then when it lands, just lift the hatch and put the plug in, and the model's safe. Okay, these are great little inventions for electric models. For those of you who don't like to pick up a 12S model that's live and then carry it from where you've connected the batteries up out to where you're going to fly it. Okay, so that's everything. So what next?
We have to put it all back in the box.
Apart from putting it all back in the box, we've got to build it.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to build this over the next week or so. What we're just going to do is assemble it, put it together, set it up, and we'll come back to you once we build it.